Bam, we're live. There's Caleb right there.
Right on time.
I was just bitching that you weren't here and how much I miss you. Not like bitching about you. I need you.
Classic.
Yeah, classic. Whose programming is he doing?
Coach L from Brute Strength.
Probably one of the better programmers who's lesser known in the CrossFit space is my guess.
Does he have an Instagram?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
I think it's just at Coach L.
The L is EL.
I made this video yesterday for my parenting Instagram account and my parenting YouTube channel, which is blowing up. And I appreciate all of you guys supporting me over there. It's pretty cool what you guys are doing. Kenneth DeLapp, it's really cool the comments you're making. Some of those videos are getting great traction. It's like called Capable Child Consulting or something. It's on YouTube. I only make shorts. It's pretty cool. Anyway, and while I was over there, I made a video yesterday talking about how if you know someone that you really like in the community who's doing something. So let's say you go to Brian's gym and you really like him. The greatest thing you can do is tell other people. If you have an instructor that's your skateboarding instructor for your kids, the greatest thing you can do is tell other parents so that they will go and support the people that you like. If you go to a jiu-jitsu studio, a CrossFit gym, those communities, those gyms only exist if you actively and aggressively tell other people about how much fun you have there. Don't be ashamed. Do it with no shame. Oh my God, I just came from CrossFit. I can't believe how great it is. It's the best hour of my day. I feel fucking great. There's tons of beautiful guys in there. The coach is so fucking sweet. Today, a guy came who trains at the gym and brought me this bag of oranges that he has from his tree. All just realistic shit. These are things that other people don't have in their lives, and you can share that with them. And it's a healthy way to make them jealous and envious, because if you bring them there, they become better people. But more importantly, you support your gym or that instructor or that person who's an entrepreneur or they're basically a small business owner. We have to do that for each other. And I just realized I want to tell you something about Gabe and Travis, Gabe, who owns Paper Street Coffee, and Travis Bellinghausen. And probably to a certain extent, this is true for all four of us you're looking at here. If one of you sends a DM to Brian, it means a fucking lot to him. I've never talked to Brian about this. And he opens it, and you'll get a fucking thoughtful response if he has one ready for you. Every bag of coffee you order from Gabe, he's fucking excited. This isn't like Black Rifle where there's like fucking like 5 people or 20 people in the back room just bagging shit and just like counting cash. He's excited. He puts the beans in your bag. He writes your name on it. He packages it. Same with Travis Bellinghausen. Him and his daughter are folding your shirt, putting it in a bag, and going to the post office and mailing it. You're not going to get this shit other places. It's like when you make a comment on my YouTube, even if you're like, God, you're a fucking chauvinistic asshole. I'm like excited. And so I just wanted to share that with you. Like, hey, the little efforts you guys make all around, none of it goes unnoticed. All of us are like, all these people are stoked. They can't even believe what they're doing.
There's Jeff right on cue with a classic comment.
Who wants his fingers on your beans? Yay, me. Put your finger on my bean. John Young and Brian Friend and Caleb, I apologize. I'm going directly off script this morning right away. Where do we have any news on what happened to Gabby Magawa? Where is she going? She left the programming with Steve Austin, the Bionic Man. And where did she land? I mean, this should be big news. She's top 10, top 5 competitor in the world with I mean, basically once Tia gets out of the way, we're looking at a possible winner of the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, and
how come no one's covering that shit? Or are they? What the hell's going on with Lauren Khalil? I went to Morning Chalk Up yesterday to poach some fucking ideas from her show, like I always do. And she used to produce every single day. Now it's like every 3 days. It's disgusting.
I think that's plan B.
She's on a squat cycle, so she can beat Brian.
I texted her this morning, told her she's slipping.
As for Gabby, and I think also the same as for Haley Adams, it seems like they've just been intentionally quiet
Good point, Haley. Yeah, what the fuck's
And
going on?
I'm not really sure why. I don't know why you wouldn't necessarily want people to know what you're doing, and people can get excited about that, especially in Gabby's case with the Rogue Invitational coming up. Obviously, well, it doesn't look like Tia's going to be there, so there's already a lot of opportunity for someone like her. And if she has been training in a new environment or with a new programmer or team or whatever she's doing, I don't know why she wouldn't want people to know that.
But we don't know. You just can't say. I think I talked to you about that after the last show, right?
I don't know.
You know where Gabby went. You just won't say.
I think so.
You're very close with Christoph from.
I haven't asked him.
Frozen.
I haven't asked him. He was doing a bar muscle up with Yella Hoste the other day. Those guys must weigh like 400 pounds combined, and they were on one bar. It's pretty impressive that those bars are so impressive.
John, I know you're not listening, but what Brian did is he just changed the subject. He's trying to like creep out.
No, I thought I knew what Gabby was doing, where Gabby and Christoph were going to train, and I thought that would be announced, and then it wasn't announced, and so now I'm not so sure.
What about Haley? I see her stuff. I see her stuff in her face. I see her stuff in her face in New York City, destroying her immune system.
Yeah, I always take I have a huge problem with all the games athletes promoting the sugar stuff all the time, donuts and cookies. I mean, for them, I get it a little bit because they're, dialed in so much of the year, but I think sometimes lose sight of how big of an impact that can have on people for whom that's a decision that can lead to a serious problem with their lifestyle.
Dude, they went.
It could be the other way around because they would pass for anorexic before they pass for obese. They're promoting eating for anorexic people.
Debating already.
Hey, dude, it's a crazy eat fest they go on. Look at. She looked like she was in metabolic derangement right there, didn't she? Oh fuck.
Every one of us saw that, yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have put that in me.
One of the people I train this morning that I provide programming for messaged me a picture of crumble cookies half eaten and said, "What do you think of my breakfast?" And I said, "If that's your breakfast, your rate is double for next month."
Good. Fuck, Haley Adams is cool as shit, though. Look at her. When I see her now, I just think of her running at the games. And what was the one where you push the weight over your head after the sprints?
Oh, shuttle to overhead A and B.
Yeah, man, there's some great shots of her running there, aren't there? She looks like
a
world-class athlete.
Sometimes you don't have to look like the best runner to be the best runner, but she looks like the best runner relative to the games field out there.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's so fun to watch her run.
But she's spent a lot of time with Hinshaw, I think, in the past 3-4 years, perfecting and dialing that in.
Okay, enough nice shit. Let's go over another Instagram account. I didn't tell you guys I was going to bring this up. If you go to Bill Henniger's account, Caleb, there is something that looks like a fucking roller coaster that he's building. It even makes the sounds of the roller coaster. As they go up, there's that metal bar that's like a safety bar that clicks over each, it's like clack, clack, clack. What the hell is going on?
Now, Brian, do you have
please tell me that's for the CrossFitters and not for those fat juiced up dudes at the event.
Do you know, Brian, or no?
I don't know, but I don't see why this couldn't be used for both a strongman event and a CrossFit event.
If I had to guess, they put weights on that platform right there, and then you just pull the weights down. They have this in Ninja Warrior.
John, hold on one second. Caleb, can we hear this real quick? Listen, guys, listen to this thing. Right there, you can get rid of the sound now. Right there, so you can just insert screams. At the roller coaster when they come down from the top.
It does sound just like a roller coaster.
And how about how the weights dump out at the end? Where do those fall? Crazy, right? Where do those fall?
Prevent it from going over the edge.
But you see how it dumps, right, at the very end? John, here's the problem with that. How would they put? Are you going to have your legs tucked under something? Because if you're pulling it and it's heavier than you are, then you're going to go up, right?
Yeah. I don't know if they'll have it that heavy. I mean, it's a tall contraption. You got to pull it a long way. I'm at like for CrossFitters, I would think you just jump and pull and then jump and pull, and it's just something that's going to tax your whole body doing it. They do it in Spartan races too. The stuff that Hunter McIntyre does, they have a very like small scale one for it. But if you did get like if something was holding your legs down and they just used it like a weighted legless rope climb almost, that would be fun. But I don't know. It'll be fun to see.
Caleb, can you pull that up again? I want to read you guys what's posted with that. Actually, can you go back 2 or 3 posts back to the first? Brian, do you have any thoughts on what's going on here, on what this thing is going to be?
Well, like I said, I could see them using it as a strongman implement for weight, for example. And then you could also potentially use it as more of a, you might have to pull it to the top as part of a rounds for time, do this plus something else multiple times. So if they're making something this big and you're advertising it, that would be cool if they used the same implement in a different way for the CrossFit competition as the strongman competition.
Yeah, good point. And then look at this. He actually wrote on their roller coaster build, we do custom. First comment, Adrian AP Bosman, pumped to see it in action.
Because I don't think it's that common for Rogue to advertise their new implements prior to seeing them being used in competition.
Well, maybe for their own event. Did they do that with those pedestals?
Well, last year they did advertise that they were going to make their own hill. We didn't know how big it was or steep it was, but they advertised that.
Is that debating what you guys did right there? Okay, can I see the next picture, Caleb?
Clarifying.
There's one more still. Oh yeah, this one. Another angle.
I don't know how they would do it, but it would be really cool if they could make it somehow sticky with your feet, and it would lock, so you could do a sled push uphill, and it would get harder and harder the higher you go.
Hey, it's funny you say that. That when I first saw it, I thought the rope was probably just misleading, and I did think it was a sled push uphill. And that the reason why it clicks into place is that's the safety.
So yeah.
So here's the question: how heavy is that, and how many of those can they realistically bring there?
Oh well, then it would only be a strongman implement, right? Oh,
it's just one. That's very true.
Unless it was
Brian ruining everyone's dreams.
Unless it was something like I don't know, like a broad jump where you have one station and everyone just comes through and does it.
What type of an event would they do like a time trial thing though? Like, yeah, that's how they'd have to do it for CrossFit, but I don't know what you would.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just trying to
final event, like 4 guys left,
a monstrous thing. So I can't imagine them having 10 of those.
No, I can't imagine them having 2. Hey, that thing's obviously designed right. I'm guessing that's in Columbus, and that thing's obviously designed to slide right in the back of a semi, right?
It looks like it. They're not taking that apart, are they? What do you do with that after the fact?
I guess you could.
Bill Henniger's a trip, isn't he? He's kind of like the Elon Musk of fitness.
That thing on the left of it, all that wood.
I hope he's getting really weird. I hope Bill washes his hands like 40 times a day and shit.
What do you think that is, Sevan?
That wooden thing?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I want that in my backyard. I love that thing. Those joints make me hard. Like those part where the wood don't you guys love that hardware? You got to love that, Caleb.
Jeff Biacco's getting hard right now too.
I just want to put that shit together. You know who that is, Brian?
No. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I think I do.
You do know who it is.
I have no idea who he is, but he knows me.
He wants to tongue your anus.
He loves you, John.
Oh, goodness.
Every show, one of the moderators is like, do we kick this guy out? No one knows what to do with them.
They keep him for comedic effect, I think.
So we don't know what's happening to Gabby, and we don't know what's happening to Haley Adams, and Brian is too PC to guess, so we'll turn to John Young for this. John, where are they? Just guess where they're going for me. If you had to be like, okay, Gabby, get over enough fucking around, get over there and training think tank, and Haley, get up there with HWPO. Enough of this nonsense.
I think that would.
Where would you send them if you were to send them to their rooms?
That would be the worst thing for Haley to go to HWPO, in my opinion.
Just her and Mal would just tension. It's like when you have sex with a
Mal's
girl, it ruins all the tension.
Mal is already better than Haley right now. I don't see a world if Haley joins their training camp where Mal improves endurance because Haley's better than her at endurance. The thing that Haley has to work on is strength. And I just think all the CrossFit-y stuff, like Mal's already better than Haley now. I don't see Haley jumping the gap and beating her ever if they are in the same training camp. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see that happening in the same training camp.
She becomes Mal's, just like one of the tools in Mal's shed if she goes up there, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I hear what he's saying, but at the same time, Brooke and Tia ended up training together, and was it Brooke's intention to ever be better than Tia? And if that was the
Mal's
case,
not Tia.
Well, I'm just saying we don't have a lot of similar comparisons to draw to, but we have a situation there where Tia was the one to beat. Brooke was a perennial top 10 games athlete who was obviously trying to improve year after year, and she chose to go and be with Tia, maybe not to beat Tia, but she thought maybe that was the best environment for her to improve.
I guess I'm kind of thinking of like Khalipa and Neil Maddox, like they were together for a while, right? And Khalipa was better than Neil, and Neil never made that jump ever. And I would see that happening with different scenarios, but I see that happening if Haley were to join the Hard Work Pays Off team. Sure, she would get better and stronger probably, but I don't see her ever beating Mal in that scenario.
Could she go there for a year or two, learn some things that she may not be able to learn somewhere else, and then move on?
If I were her, I would go to James Townsend.
By the way, that picture of him from the Crash Crucible, he's huge. I didn't realize he's so big. I knew he's
so
big.
Strong.
James Townsend, if there's one thing he's amazing at, it's making people strong. Look at freaking Tudor. Mal didn't get stronger.
Look at his kids. Look at his fucking kids.
She moves better, like with Olympic lifting, but she didn't get stronger working with Matt.
Let me ask you this. I think the distinction what you guys are talking about is this. This is a loaded question. Are you guys suggesting that Brooke goes to Proven knowing that she'll never beat Tia? And
also knowing that might be her best chance to make a podium or to improve, even if it means if it doesn't mean beating Tia.
Isn't that weird? I wonder if that's one of the only athletes in the world who trains like that, if that's true. And before we get to that, let me ask you this. And then on the other side, what you're also both of you are suggesting is that Haley wouldn't go to HWPO thinking, hey, I'm never going to beat Mal. She's not there in her career yet, where Brooke might be there in her career and accept that.
Well, I mean, Tia's just nobody's going to beat Tia. Tia is so far above everybody else. Like in Brooke's scenario, it's like, man, if I just get close to her in workouts, I'm beating everybody else then. Like it makes sense for Brooke. It would make sense for any girl in the women's field to train with Tia. That's how far ahead she is to everybody. Mal is not the same case.
This comment from Clive really depends on how you define failure.
I agree. I think Clive missed the point on that one.
Yeah, and I think what John is suggesting is that if you're an athlete like Haley, and there are many other athletes like this too, who have a pretty well-rounded skill set, but you're not getting strong, and you want to get strong in a short period of time, this guy seems to be able to do that with young athletes.
It would be really cool, Mike Halpin. It would be really cool, Mike Halpin, if we could find out if if Haley Adams put 20 pounds on her shoulder to overhead, 20 pounds on her deadlift, 20 pounds, just make her a stronger version if she wins the games, if she beats Tia, and what that number looks like.
She doesn't beat Tia, but she might get second.
Yeah, and I bet you it's not a lot of weight. I bet you it's not a lot.
I would say 30 pounds on her front squat would fix every single problem she has.
Okay, how about this? What do you guys think about this? Haley Adams.
Again, it's a similar situation because Ben's done a lot of work with Laura.
Oh, meaning Laura is that would be just a Mal.
Yeah, it's another athlete that she's chasing.
Yeah.
So do you just leave her at Mayhem?
She'll stay the same 5th place at Mayhem. I think it's proven that Mayhem is not going to make her stronger. And like if you really think about it, and this is nothing against Mayhem, they make people super fit, but who has gotten
Luke
strong
Parker?
at mayhem.
Chase Hill.
Luke Parker had a 300-pound snatch before he went there.
Tyler Christophel, he's strong as shit, isn't he?
He was strong before he got there.
And he's not.
I'm talking like weren't strong and then got strong.
And how about this kid? What about the? Oh, here we go. Finally, it's been a long time. The show has missed you. You've never said anything dumb. You're 75-0 for smart shit, Mr. Jamal Smith.
So I was listening when y'all were talking about how y'all were saying Tia and Brooke were doing that comparison to Mel and Haley. But would you think a better comparison would be how Amanda Barnhart went up with Katrin to ComTrain, to where it was kind of like that iron sharpens iron, and whoever comes out on top, comes out on top in that way?
It's another good example, and I guess I had not really considered it with those two. For some reason, the thought of them training together never seemed confrontational to me. I'm not sure why.
They're very different in their weaknesses.
What happened there, Jamal? Did Amanda get better going up there? Because I'm making the assumption that Katrin was the better athlete.
I mean, I feel like they would build off each other a little bit, even though they had the separate coaches with Ben and it was Harry Polly, correct? I mean, I'm sure there was times where they did have training sessions together and kind of build off each other.
So from my understanding, and Brian, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the people that are with Harry do not mix with the people that are with Ben very often. They do have training camps together, but it's like 2 weeks at a time. And then the rest, they're by themselves and they have different coaches. It's just under the same ComTrain umbrella.
That might be right. I'm not 100% sure.
Because like Sam Quine, every single time I've ever heard him talk or every time I've messaged him on Instagram, he is by himself training. He is not with anybody else.
Mr. Jamal Smith, thank you for the thoughtful question. Peace
okay, no problem.
76-0.
Yeah, 70. Thank you, Brian. Has anyone noticed that Barnhart Spiegel never interact with each other? Is there? Yes, they have different moral standards. Rogue Equipment. Where's Gabby going? Where would you send Gabby? Let's fuck with Brian a little bit. Brian, where would you send Gabby? If no one was listening, pretend like no one's listening.
That's a great question.
That is a great question. I'll be honest. I am a little surprised that she left the program, and I don't know enough about what it was like there. I think definitely she's still in a stage of her career where having eyes on coach, someone there with her while she's training is going to be advantageous to her as opposed to remote coaching or sending in videos, stuff like that. But if she, there could be any number of reasons why she wanted to leave there, and it could be personal and not have anything to do with fitness for all we know. But wherever she goes, I would think that being in a place where she can do a majority of her training with her coach having the ability to see her is probably important right now.
Now,
I'm sorry. I didn't pick up on a camp there. Which camp did you say? Which coach did you say?
Well, I don't know that there is necessarily a camp that I would send her to, because, for a lot of the reasons that we've already talked about, most of these well-established camps already have one or two athletes that are contending for the top 10. And I don't necessarily think that that's what she needs.
I'm going to say send her to underdogs.
I guess she'd have to be willing to move to the U.S. And I don't know if that's practical, possible, or appealing to them.
Of course.
Yeah, location has a lot to deal with it too. Whatever, but I could see her training with Laura. I don't think she'd ever pass Laura. The same kind of scenario, but is she with Ben Krypton? Or just trains with them? I don't know the details with that. I know she's
coming on the podcast tomorrow. I'll ask her.
Okay.
Who is?
Laura Horvat.
Is she really?
No. Send Haley to Sarah Cox. It's an option. It's an option. Make it happen. Caleb, can you pull up Matt Fraser's Instagram account? Oh no, sorry, the HWPO Instagram account. And 6 posts back. It shows him and Katrin leaning over a box together. And a handful of people sent me this, and I think I agree with their sentiment. Go ahead and watch this and let me know what you guys. I don't want to give you plant any seeds besides.
Oh, is this when we're talking about the snatching?
Yeah. Will you hit the audio, please?
Loosen your elbows, and then again, from here, keeping that bar against your thighs, so that when you push back underneath, it's already close all the way up. And then
is that just for the lats?
So, a couple things: engaging the lats, but staying over the bar. And it's going to be a mental cue, but the biggest thing is just so that when it's here, it's not momentum coming in, a bump, and then the momentum going away. You just want all the velocity going straight up. So keeping it here and fixing that pull so that the bar is staying close. Because right now it's out in front, big bump, back out in front.
Yeah.
And you're in a position where you can't use your pull the whole way through.
Yeah.
It's just a bump and dive at this point. So,
Okay, pause. Any thoughts on that when you see that?
I have strong thoughts on this.
Okay, please.
Do you want to go first, Brian?
No, mine are.
My thought, what are people doing if they're like, man, I never heard that before? Every Olympic lifting coach says the exact same. Like that's how.
Wait.
Should
It's
snatch.
not even every Olympic lifting coach. Sounds like a conversation I have with people in my gym the first day they ever try to snatch.
Right. Listen, and Brian can barely snatch 185 or trying to.
I'm proud of that too.
Yeah. Okay, right. I'm glad I got the weight right. But and he could say the same thing to people. If this ain't in Katrin's like, this is how I snatch. Like, what are you doing? Like,
I will say this. Sometimes it does happen where you spend so much time with someone and you're trying to communicate the same message to them over and over and over again.
And somebody else comes and
Someone
says
comes
the
in
same
and says the
thing,
same thing, and you watch them immediately get it, and you're just like, "What the fuck? Like, are you kidding me?" But at the same time, you're happy because you're like, "Okay, fine, whatever, as long as it got it somewhere." But when you're talking about someone who's won the CrossFit Games twice, it's like this is a conversation that's going on at the 10th and 12th year of her career.
Let me let me kind of play devil's advocate here, because I was tripping when I saw that too, for exactly what both you guys are saying. This is like you've been doing CrossFit for a month, and then you go into an affiliate, or you do your L1, and this is like just bait. This is like the beginning. When she went to Yami up in Iceland, when she went to Yami in Iceland, I don't want to misquote him, but there was something in there where he was saying like, "Hey, this is going to take more than a year to fix. Basically, the problems that I see are going to require some serious unwinding, and this is going to take more than a year to fix. This is nothing we can, the bad habits or whatever she's picked up in her career up to that point, we're going to take a while to unwind." Is that what we're seeing? Just some like serious fucking unwinding? I mean, and is it maybe it's fair just to go back to this is super fundamental shit he's sharing with her. It's kind of weird they're even saying it with a straight face. I can't tell the point of this video. I can't tell if it's good for her brand or if they were trying to share like it almost seems staged. It's so fundamental. Or is this something that every athlete could use? I mean, should someone be harping on Rich, "Hey, stop bending your arms on the pool"?
Well, and I mean, Rich has been told that a lot, and
Of
Rich
course.
will say, "I know I bend my arms. I'm all right." Like, you know what I mean? Like you snatch 300 pounds, you probably don't care, right? And like, there's some times where I'm like, man, there's like 8 things wrong, but let's focus on like the main 2 things and not worry about the other 6 things that way you don't overwhelm somebody. But Katrin's been able to snatch 200 pounds, which is always really good. Her snatch is one of her better lifts. She's very good overhead. So it is possible that just nobody tried to fix her because she was already strong enough in the CrossFit field. And then maybe Matt sees we could snatch 215 if you would just get it right. You know what I'm saying? And that has never happened before. It's crazy if that hasn't happened before. But I could see that as a.
And I'm sure that there have always been a lot of people doing this, but Ben Bergeron has regularly, and I'm talking about like, going back years and years now, talked about that there was a prerequisite. Like if you wanted to make regionals as a woman or a man, that you needed to have a clean and jerk of X number, and you needed to have a snatch of X number. And so then they would be basically tracking that, and along with other metrics. And like John's saying, probably Katrin was always well above the threshold for a snatch for a female in the sport, to be able to get to the stages she wanted get to. The counter is to that, it would say, okay, well, if they weren't working on that, then what were they working on? And obviously we've seen over the course of her career that she's continued to have the same deficiencies.
Okay. I like the discussion. Like, part of me wants to be like, what the fuck? And part of me is like, well, maybe I just don't understand that it's actually even champions. Like, I was trying to think of a parallel in another sport. Like, if you were shooting a basketball, would you fuck with the guy's shot if it's not the classic shot? Or golf, if he has a good swing but it's not perfect, you fuck with the swing. Wildly different. It is okay.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I'm right now WODproof has this bionic rowing challenge going on. And obviously, they're athletes, so I want to participate in this thing. And so I'm trying to do it. And I've done it twice. It was pathetic. I literally cannot get a clean stroke.
Are you getting this, Sevan?
No, I can't hear a thing Brian's saying.
Brian, you're breaking up badly. It's bad.
You turned into a transformer. It was kind of cool. Oh, and he's gone. That wasn't cool just to kick him off like that, Caleb, just because his fucking audio went sideways.
Swear I didn't do it this time. And
finally I went over to Brian Friend's CrossFit Instagram account. It's a shame he's not here. And I was looking for stuff to talk about on the show this morning. Oh, here we go. And finally I went over to much better. Thank you. Finally I went over to and then we'll get on script if we have time. Finally I went over to Brian Friend's Instagram account to look for content this morning. And I pulled up his Instagram account. I was very surprised to see that he snatches 205, not 185, John.
I wish maybe eventually.
No, can you go to the bio?
Do you have your snatch and clean and jerk numbers in your bio, Brian?
No, but you also don't have. Do you have a link tree or anything, Brian? What didn't you used to have something in here that said you had a link to Morning Chalk Up?
Yes, not a link to it, but it was listed that I was a writer for the Morning Chalk Up.
And are you? Wow, you have 11,500 followers now. You're just slowly just chugging away. Mm-hmm. Oh shit! Annie Thorsdottir follows you. Patrick Velder, Amanda Barnhart.
Don't go to my Instagram after this, please.
It just says like for followers. It says his mom, his dad.
Yeah, I got Luka Dukic the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that's like the biggest name I've ever seen that followed me."
He's gonna unfollow you since you pronounced his name wrong.
Yeah. Now. Oh no, he wouldn't do that.
Why doesn't it say you work at Morning Chalk Up anymore? Did you run out? Like you could only put so many links?
I don't work at Morning Chalk Up anymore.
Like done. I watched the video. I find that hard to believe because the last video I saw that Lauren Khalil did was with you. It was posted 3 days ago. I forget what the topic was.
Okay.
Oh, well, how can we introduce the CrossFit to more people who, how do we get more fans in the CrossFit community?
Yeah, that was a fun episode actually with Emily Beers, who rarely goes on the Bottom Line episodes. And I think that's the last one that I did.
She was horrible.
Okay.
I
thought she was good.
I thought she was horrible. And that's it. You're done. That's your last piece of work with Morning Chalk Up?
I think the last article I wrote was published on Friday, and then that video whenever it was published. Yeah.
Were you fired?
No.
The Brian Friend post is coming out next week.
I know that I haven't made you any like enormous job offers where like you're doing backflips. Why would you leave? What's going on? Did you leave on good terms or bad terms? Was it you or them? Can you tell me that? Was it you or them?
I have a new opportunity.
You work for CrossFit?
No.
Okay.
And should be known pretty soon.
Is that why they were trying to hire
You went with Charlie
riders?
Doobie's team. You went with Charlie Doobie's team.
Nope.
It is so Tommy Marquez, sorry to cut you off, John. So Tommy Marquez is gone from Morning Chalk Up?
Has been for a couple of months, yeah. He's focusing more on some narrowing his focus onto some of his other endeavors.
And now you have left. When you say you've left, you'll still be over there. Like you'll still do articles and pop on their shows occasionally.
I don't no.
Is Morning Chalk Up the comp train of reporting?
Is Is the new place? When are you going to tell us the details so I don't have to ask so many questions about it? But I do have one more question.
I think tomorrow.
Oh, you'll announce it on your Instagram?
I think so.
Do I know who they are?
Yep.
Barbell Spin. The guy who's like recently like pulled his head over the parapet.
That's what we're doing today.
I knew I nailed it. Does it affect your job with coming on to? Does your new whatever you're doing affect your ability to come on my show?
No.
Oh, fuck. Who cares?
You put
Okay.
that in
Next
the
subject.
contract.
It might make
Next
me more available to come on your show.
Yeah. Oh, that's all. Serious?
Well,
Did
I'm
you
not
go to?
doing
Are you
those
going to work
things.
for Rogue?
Nice transition. All right. Rogue debating topics.
He would have known what that roller coaster thing was if he was working for Rogue.
Okay. Where are we for time?
Question 1.
Let the show begin. Is there a time ever when, and this kind of ties into that last video you made with Lauren, how do you get more fans in CrossFit? It was fascinating to me last year when we saw the wide shot of the Rogue Invitational that there weren't more people there. You have to know if you're in the community that if there's an event to bring your family and friends to who aren't into CrossFit, it's got to be a Rogue event. You know, it's going to be the nicest fucking event, cleanest venue, nicest vendor, best athletes, like everything's going to be fucking tip top. Does that event ever compete with the CrossFit Games or surpass the CrossFit Games? Like, does it ever be like
future?
Yeah, and if so, how close are we to that? What's Bill waiting for? Why doesn't Bill just make it the new play nice in the sandbox?
Oh, well, I mean, on the one hand, I have absolutely no idea about any kind of contracts or deals that Rogue might have with the CrossFit Games for a certain amount of time or whatever. And it might be in his best interest to have both things going on, you know, regardless.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Right. Basically,
just because you can be the
now,
biggest dragon in the room, why not have 2 medium-sized dragons and just kick ass, or 1 large and 1 medium?
Yeah. I mean, right now he has the CrossFit Games, which is the pinnacle event where he gets to put all of his equipment on display. And he has the second biggest event where he gets to put all of his equipment plus some new stuff on display.
Is that the second biggest event?
Yeah. I think
Rogue,
that.
Yeah.
by far.
But how about Wadapalooza or the Dubai Fitness Challenge?
It depends how you're defining it. Yeah, certainly Wadapalooza is the biggest event from a participatory perspective still, but in terms of the elite level of the sport, the prize money available to the athletes that are pursuing this as a career, it's the Games and Rogue and really nobody else.
I look at it as it's just money. When Rogue offers more money than the Games, then I think it will become the Games. And until it doesn't, then the CrossFit Games will always be the CrossFit Games.
Maybe, but there's another element of that, which is that, you know, the CrossFit Games, John, you have a chance to get there just as well as anyone else. You just have to be good enough. For Rogue, it's a lot more limited, the opportunities. And some years, if you, like last year, for example, if you weren't at the Games, then you don't have any chance to go to Rogue.
And it's political. I don't mean that in any negative sense at all. But as soon as there's one person who's inviting people, it's political.
Yeah, it's fair. I also think though, if Rogue were to get close to the money wise, at least for first through 5, that the Games would raise its price too.
Rogue feels more like UFC.
Just as long as we don't have any more competitions promising to pay people who can't pay them.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that with Andrew. I guess.
But to add to your point, I'm pretty sure the strongman payout for Rogue is much more than the world's strongest man payout. The world's strongest man doesn't make very much money at all, and Rogue and that are the two big. It correlates very nicely to the CrossFit Games and the Rogue Invitational, but Rogue gives more money. I'm almost positive than the world's strongest man gives to those guys.
I don't remember them advertising the payout for strongman so aggressively last year. Is it a lot more this year?
I'm not sure. But what I just saw, I'm almost positive they do not make that for the actual.
Yeah, it's a legit payout.
Because those guys don't make any money at all. Like it's really bad.
Huge drop off from 3rd to 4th, but those top 3 prizes are pretty substantial.
Yeah, but you said huge drop off. I'm almost positive fourth place gets like $1,000 at World's Strongest Man. Like
Yeah,
wow.
you might be right.
Will you pull up their YouTube page really quick?
So it's basically like a
Rogue
semifinal.
YouTube page.
What do you mean?
The World's
The payout.
Strongest Man payout is
Yes. Like the winner gets 50,000. Well, I mean, like if Wadapalooza was like the winner gets 50,000, and then it goes to like 15, and then it's 10, and then it's like 1.
Oh, it's really dramatic. I got
yeah. And there's just not a lot of money in it, and they don't advertise it well as far as the World's Strongest Man goes. But it's still held as like the title. Like if you win that, you're the World's Strongest Man, no matter who wins Rogue. But so that leads to your point where you were saying, even if it's more money.
Go to the videos list, Caleb. I want to tell Bill and Katie something. Dear Bill and Katie, these videos you have here, this live stream 2022 Iceland Strongest Man 4 days ago, Iceland Strongest Man 4 days ago. Any of these events, I mean, how to use none of those. Anyway, any of these events you're doing, please use me. Pick the winners of those events, give them my contact information, send me a text, send me a DM and say, hey, Sevan, get this guy on, give me his contact, and I will help blow these fucking events the fuck up. I will do anything. I mean, the fact that this video only has 1,700 views, these guys work too hard to only have this many views. Hook me up with the winners of these events. Let me get them on the show. Let me and Brian pick their brain. Let Brian tell them that Gabby McGawa is fitter than them. Let John Young tell us how he can snatch more than them. Please use me. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Katie. Okay. So John just thinks it's a money thing, and Brian, you kind of think it's not relevant. Big picture, it's good that basically Rogue has their teeth sunk into both events in a way that's beneficial for the company.
Now, Brian, do you think if say it was 300,000 for the winner, that the games would raise its price too, just to stay as top dog as far as money goes?
Possibly, but
like say Bill tried to take it over and the games.
It depends what the cost. It depends at what cost to increase the prize purse. That whether the games would be willing to do that.
Ryan does bring up a super valid point, dude. The fact that 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 people enter the CrossFit Games and not even 2,000 enter the Rogue Invitational is like, I don't really even understand it. I guess that's just the affiliate, the power.
Well, all the elite people want to do Rogue, and like the qualifier, we know it's going to be elite people in the qualifier. It's not like,
but the primary qualifier is the CrossFit Games season,
right? But I'm saying the 5 spots left, even those guys, they're all games competitors. So,
well,
you would put the winner of Rogue normally. You'd put the winner of Rogue normally against the winner of any other event worldwide. Besides,
the winner of Rogue should be the winner of the CrossFit Games.
Say that again, Brian.
Tia is the only one who's ever won it for the women. First of all,
okay,
so there's that.
Right.
And on the men's side, the winners are Fraser, Vellner, and Medeiros.
Right. Okay.
Vellner's the only guy that didn't win the games the same year.
So it's pretty much the best of the best.
Who did Vellner beat? Did he beat Matt or Medeiros?
That was the year Matt wasn't in.
BKG, Noah Olson, Chandler Smith, Saxon Panchik.
Are we glad Tia's gone from the Rogue event in the sense that it allows some tension to be built? We can kind of like those of us who have wild imaginations will be like, oh shit, wow, Annie's really gotten a lot better. She's going to beat Tia this year. Like with Tia gone, it allows us to build some hope up, allows some of the females to build some confidence. Are we happy she's going to Australia?
Is this a debate question now?
I guess.
I don't.
What's the question? Are we happy that Tia's not at Rogue?
There's this thing in arm wrestling. It's probably in a lot of sports. You arm wrestle a guy, he beats you, and you need like 6 months away from the guy for your memory to start so you can start lying to yourself and think you can beat him again. You know what I mean? You need a break from him. He just smoked your ass on the arm wrestling table, and now you need some space. And 6 months later, the dream and the delusion has grown again, and you're like, okay, I can beat this guy. With Tia gone from Rogue, is that going to allow us as fans and the athletes to start thinking, oh shit, wow, Annie's really gotten a lot better. She's going to beat Tia this year? Like with Tia gone from Rogue, is that going to allow us as fans and the athletes to start thinking, oh shit, wow, Annie's really gotten a lot better. She's going to beat Tia this year?
I just want to say last year, Annie gave Tia a run. Annie was ahead after day 2. And then day 3, Tia got back in front. It was a competition, but I do think it will make the race more fun. That Tia. But, I mean, we always know Tia's going to win. So, I mean, it'll make the race fun, but whoever wins, we know Tia would have won if she was there. But it will make, it'll be competitive, and we don't know the winner until it happens.
It is nice to see things like that, to see Annie ahead after 2 days. If you go back even to the first version of the Rogue Invitational, Vellner was leading after day 1. He was ahead of Fraser. But it's, in some ways, it reminds me of the conversation between Mal and Laura at the games this year. Like, at the end of the day, they were very close. It looked like Mal was way better than her because of the way that the events were ordered. But until someone actually beats that person over the course of the entire competition, then it's like John said, it's more of the same. I am excited for the women's division this year. I would be more excited for it if Mal and Haley were in the field, because I've really wondered, if absent Tia, who's the next best woman? And there is an element of what Sevan's talking about 100%. That is the belief coming into a competition that you can win. And even if you write off Tia and you're like, okay, I'm going to try to beat every other woman, it's different than showing up and thinking to myself, I can win this competition, and like actually believing that. And I think every woman who's finished, well, we could say that if Mal and Haley were in the field, I think there'd be 5 or 6 women coming in really, really confidently believing they could win. And that there still are probably that many women who believe that and have a chance to. But there's not only Tia that's missing, there's also the second fittest woman from this past game season that's missing. And so there's still that, it's like, so.
Do we know why? Why aren't Haley
I'm more disappointed that Mal and Haley aren't going to be there than I could really care less about Tia.
I agree.
Why aren't they there? Have they said why?
Haley is implied, or at least my understanding is that is not competing this offseason at all with the intention of actually trying to solve some of the problems that are stagnating her performance at the games. Mal has said, as far as I know, said nothing about it.
I don't think she talk. Has anyone ever heard her talk? Like, does sound come out of does sound come out of her mouth? No, I didn't think that's a trip.
I want to add on to what Brian said too. Last year when Justin won, I still thought Vellner was the fittest guy in the world. And then when Justin won Rogue, I was like, man, Justin's better. Like, it cemented that Justin was the fittest guy in the world at that point for me. Even though everybody, people peak at different times, it doesn't matter. I didn't think Justin could beat Vellner at another competition. And he did. And it was the second best competition that there is. So, like, if Mal were to beat everybody, for instance, I think Laura's better than Mal. But I think, Laura got 0 points on one of the events of the games. But if Mal were to come into Rogue and beat Laura, it would cement she is the fittest girl in the world that's not named Tia Toomey. And right now, I think it's still a huge debate. But if she were to win Rogue, it would cancel any of those questions. For me, it would cancel any of those questions.
I think some people are maybe saying that's why she's not going, because she doesn't want to risk losing to Laura. But I'm like, come on, you're 18 years old. Like, take this opportunity when it's there. You could win $100,000 for getting second. Like, that's a big deal.
That's the part I don't understand.
Than any strongman has ever gotten in his life in a competition.
So if that's the reason that she's not showing up, which we're just assuming because she hasn't said anything, Bruce, at least spell his name right. Then, that's
if you're going to be someone's puppet and you want to win the CrossFit Games, good person to be the.
And if Hopper's doing it, though, Hopper is doing it. Quant is doing it. All the hard work people are doing it. Like, she's the only one not doing it. I'm not counting Katrin.
Yeah, it is.
Is Katrin doing it?
No. But she didn't really have the chance. She obviously didn't make the games, and she didn't attempt to do the qualifier.
She's not a games competitor right now.
She's working on her snatch.
And she wasn't invited. And she wasn't invited.
She wasn't invited. She could have been invited. That's right. Annie was invited.
Oh man, I made this comment on one of my shows that, as a woman, the greatest gift that you could give to yourself is to have a child. Like, without having a child, like, you're not going to experience your greatest gift. And fucking 20 women who either can't or won't have babies fucking are going off in the comments. It's pretty crazy. And then you click their bios. Hold on, Brian. So it's only the first time I've strayed on the show. And then when you click their bios, it's like them with pictures of dogs and shit. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
No,
It's okay. It's okay if you don't have kids. I'm not saying it's not. Don't get all defensive. It's okay. It's okay. I'll never be able to dunk, and that might be the coolest thing to do in all of sports. Just some of us don't get to do everything. It's okay.
I just wanted to. Someone had made a comment.
You got someone pregnant. You got someone pregnant. You're about to have a kid.
I don't know what. I honestly have no idea what you were talking about for the last minute.
Okay, good.
But what I was looking at another comment over here that someone was saying that maybe Mal and Haley, are not competing at Rogue because of the strength bias that's there. They did fine last year. Haley was 5th at Rogue last year, basically what she does at the games, and Mal was 8th last year at Rogue. I don't think that the strength bias is going to impact their performance as much as some people think. It is beneficial for the athletes that are very strong, but it doesn't really diminish the performance of the athletes that aren't as strong.
It's not
Josh leaked the programming to Matt. Is there any truth to that?
No.
This is just another account that Jeff Biacco is running.
No, I know SEMA. Jan Clark, Katrin would have to pay to play. Okay. Tia said she wants to do Legends. That's not true either, right? Do we know? Is Tia going to the games next year? Is she competing? Do we even know?
She said that she is, but
that's cool.
We'll see.
If Justin gets 3rd or lower at Rogue, let's just say 2nd or lower. If Justin doesn't win Rogue, do all of a sudden it's kind of the same question, but for the dudes, do we see, oh my God, there's a kink in his armor? He's not. I mean, you guys kind of aren't bought in on Justin the way I am anyway. I think we're looking at Dynasty. I think he's going to win 7 in a row.
I'm working on an article that's focusing in on Justin Medeiros right now.
Yeah.
But if he got 2nd place at Rogue, I think that would be amazing for the men's field in general. There are definitely a group of people, and I think that there's some merit to it that, think really that Roman lost the games for himself this year by making the mistakes that Justin doesn't ever make. And he just had a few execution errors. He went out hot in a couple of workouts. He, had a few things here that cost him points. It was pretty close between them. And if you look at the way that Justin approaches workouts compared to the way that that Roman specifically approached the workouts he did worst in, there's a noticeable difference. And it's, I would call it just an experience or a maturity of understanding, what your capacity is and where to make your moves on different workouts. But that, even if you look back at Rogue last year, like Pat Vellner, it looks like he was really far behind Medeiros, but it pretty much just Pat mailed in the last event because of an execution error. That's what, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that's what this guy is so incredibly good at. So if someone's able to go there, he obviously has a very high level of fitness and beat him, suddenly we have a really, really interesting 2023 season for the men.
And see, if he gets 2nd, I think, like in my head, he's still the fittest guy in the world just because Rogue's programming doesn't, like Haley and Mal, not to the same extent, but it doesn't benefit him. It's always strength biased, and there are events where there could be more events where he could get 8th instead of 4th.
Justin?
Yeah. Like not a lot of, but like one event where he could get 8th instead of the 4th he always gets.
But he didn't last year. Nothing worse.
No, he didn't. He didn't. But that doesn't defeat the purpose that Rogue, there can be events like that in Rogue where I think that could happen. It's always a little bit of strength by the lifting event was amazing for him last year.
That was the one where you lifted you put the balls on the pedestal?
No. The clean jerk, front squat jerk complex.
Oh, okay.
But like if Roman,
we like the fact though, John. That's not criticism, right, John? We like the fact that Rogue is strength biased. It's like
yes.
Okay.
All the events have a little bit of a twinge to it that I think is great for the sport. But like if Roman were to win and Justin were to get 2nd and it's close, I still give the edge to Justin, like in the game for 2023, just because of what Brian said. He doesn't make mistakes. Now over 15 events, that will bear itself out. But if he were to get 3rd and 2 people beat him, I think the distinction between 2nd and 3rd is huge. Because if 2 people were to beat him in Rogue, he's not the best. Like then I think it's a 3-way race between 2nd, 1st, and 3rd.
Is Ricky going? Is Ricky going to Rogue?
Yeah, this is it's a really good field, and I think the names might not necessarily look much different or better than last year, but like we talked about before the CrossFit Games this year, all of these athletes that are in the top 10 for the men's field, they're getting better. You know, you have Vellner and BKG that it's like, are they getting better? Or are they just as good as they've always been? But the rest of these guys, the Lazar Jukic's, the Ricky Garrars, the Jason Hoppers, the Jeff Adlers, the Sam Quants, they are improving. They are still continuing to improve. And so I do think there is an opportunity for, you know, an event that would generally be a 4th, 5th, 6th to be a 7th, 8th, 9th for Justin. And if there are a couple of those, and those happen to be really good, I mean, I didn't even mention Guy Medeiros in that conversation. I know people are like not sure what to think about him, but Chandler Smith has historically done well at Rogue. There are a lot of guys that could play spoiler in terms of points if Medeiros slips on a couple events. And if Vellner or Adler or Roman or Ricky or these guys just have a really clean run through, I don't think it's a lock for him to win.
What did Guy place last year? Sorry, go ahead, John. Go ahead. I won't forget.
I want to respond to a couple of the comments. I don't just mean weightlifting when I say strength. Like Rogue traditionally doesn't have a really long endurance workout. And Rogue traditionally is not super skilled. That's why Jeff Adler is amazing when he's at Rogue. I'm not just talking about weights. I'm talking about like echo bike sprints. I'm talking about workhorse events, just capacity, capacity to grind.
The uppercut's coming from the comments section.
Oh, I know.
If we were to see a 40-pound, if we were to see a 40-pound vest, the place we'd see it is at Rogue. If we were to see a 40-pound med ball, the place we'd see it at Rogue. I was trying to think of it kind of like car racing.
Like size matters at Rogue. You know what I mean? Size matters. There's a reason Quant always does good. Chandler does good. Like Roman is going to be awesome at Rogue. And it's not a skill based. It's just not. Go ahead.
I was thinking that CrossFit's kind of like auto racing, and it's kind of cool that it's being like this, and I hope it continues in this way. Meaning that there's tracks that are just the oval tracks, and that are tracks with like 30 turns, and the ground's always going to be wet. And there's going to be there's going to be races that are 6 hours, and then there's going to be races that are just 1 hour. And it's kind of like that. There's never going to be swimming at Rogue. There's always going to be swimming at Wadapalooza, right? There's always going to be some bizarre, weird shit in Dubai, like running up that ice mountain, because they just the different resources and the different things that are available to them, right? And the fact that
Dubai's always a little endurance based,
right? It's cool. It's really cool. It would be fun. I like it. I hope Rogue does keeps pushing down that avenue, down that way. Someone says the Scott Tetlows. Is Scott Tetlow is Rogue good for Scott Tetlow?
Scott Tetlow, if you're not familiar with him, very similar to Colt Mertens, where he can have a couple events that he can certainly impact the top 5 of a leaderboard. And actually in the online year, the 2020 year that Vellner won, I think Mertens had 1 or 2 event wins that year.
Two wins.
Yeah, and so while I don't think that Scott Tetlow will really factor into a podium or probably even top 10 conversation on the weekend, he can, if the event comes up that Justin maybe struggles at that we're projecting, this guy certainly could take some points from him too. On the right,
he could win an event. Yeah, there was like a deadlift overhead squat event that Colton beat everybody by 40 seconds, beat Vellner by 40 seconds, just because range of motion.
Yeah, this guy shows up near the top of the open leaderboards regularly. He qualified for the games in 2020 through the open, range of motion, barbell cycling, strict handstand push-ups, stuff like that is very good.
Do the directors of these events embrace kind of their niche? Like, is Dubai like happy? Like, do they does Rogue like the fact that they're the strength event? Does Wadapalooza like it? The fact that whatever their thing is, swimming, that Dubai Fittest Challenge likes the fact that they can do, some stranger locations, some unique events, or is everyone trying? It seems like everyone's embracing it, and they're not being like, "Hey, I want to be the perfect event."
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that what you're doing makes sense. Extrapolating it to other sports, and you think about, what does the U.S. Open in golf look like compared to the British Open in golf? Or what does the French Open in
different
tennis
grass,
look like
different weather, different holes?
Right? And they do have their unique elements. And, at the Masters, we can regularly see people winning with 10 to 15 strokes under par. In the U.S. Open, if you shoot 5 under par for the weekend, you're probably going to win. And I think that if the CrossFit the major events of the CrossFit off season, develop identities like that. There's nothing wrong with it. It distinguishes each of them a little bit and gives different athletes perhaps a chance to either do better or feel like they can do better at those. It might appeal to different parts of the audience, like John Young loves the Rogue Invitational because there's all these strong opportunities.
Doesn't everyone love it? Doesn't everyone kind of love the strength stuff better? It's kind of like going to like you said, going to a golf event where
Chase Ingram, he does not.
He does. Like you want there to be a chance for a hole-in-one on every course, right? I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah, you get
strength
a lot more
events are just better.
You get a lot more hole-in-ones in disc golf.
I don't think strength events are just better. But no. I think everybody just likes what they're good at. But I can appreciate a good just 5K row or 5K run. I like seeing who's the best runner. Like when Ricky took off on the Capitol, like there's fewer things that are awesome to see than that. When Haley dusted everybody and then got stomped on at the Capitol, there's fewer things that are awesome to see than that.
I'd argue that was the strength component of the event.
It was. But I'm saying her running, though, we already talked about how beautiful it is to watch her run.
Right.
Like I appreciate a very good just endurance test, and same thing with gymnastics. But I wouldn't say just strength is the best thing. I think people just, I don't know, they like to see weights move. But in my opinion, they all have their own niches. I'm just better at the strength one, so people think I like it a lot more.
When Chase wrote this, he laughed. Like as he's typing this out, the Shire has produced some incredible athletes. What an asshole.
And Fraser's on the edge of the Shire. He's kind of like not
That's true.
Hobbit, but
that is true.
He could go to the club, but he's not part of them.
Wow. Not just by like an inch in it. Like if like from his knee to his heel was just an inch shorter, he'd be in the Shire.
Yeah, he could walk through the land, but get funny looks.
Yeah, like who's this weirdo? Is Rogue anybody's last event? Are we going to see anyone go to Rogue and retire? Is there a chance we could see Annie retire? Is there Chandler Smith? Is there?
The one that jumps out to me as possibly is Cara Saunders. There are some rumors around the games that it could be her last year. I kind of have a feeling she'll continue to compete, but she's the one that jumps off the page most to me.
Mr. Young, anyone retire there?
Yeah, I could see Annie retire. Annie has always done really well at the Rogue event. But yeah, I don't know. Annie would make the most sense in my head, but I also think she wants a good run at team, and this year was not the good run that she would want.
I think going to team is the same as retiring. Hey, I think Annie wants to go individual.
How old is Annie?
47,
33, I think.
So she still has a couple of years for Masters.
She still has a couple years to Masters, yes.
Oi. Oh, that sucks.
What?
I just got some news about Rogue. We're going to be sending two guys to Rogue. Well, we're going to be sending 3 guys, but only 2 guys can get in. I just got the notice. Fuck. Okay. That'll be something fun to deal with all day today.
The other, the other people that are like maybe approaching the tail ends of their careers are mostly on the men's side. I'm thinking of guys like Cole Sager, Noah Olson, that have been doing this for so long.
They're not retiring there, though.
No, I don't think so either, especially because they're 1 year away from making it to 10 consecutive CrossFit games, and that would be a pretty cool accomplishment.
Maybe Rich. He's doing Legends. Does that count?
Rich is he didn't last year he just show up for one event when he did Legends? Like he showed up for one and split and he had to go to a birthday party or something?
No, he did team. Did he do team?
No, at Rogue,
no,
Rich.
He showed up for Masters for like one day and then went back to Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking the year previous.
We talked a lot about the program in Rogue, and they have I think Spieler and Katie and Josh are the three who are doing the programming. Do you think that it's really just Katie? I'm trying to figure out how much like Spiel and Josh play a role, especially when I see these giant contraptions that Bill's making, these Elon Musk type,
It could be. I've been obviously programming in general has been such a huge topic of conversation this entire season. And I was speaking with someone the other day about it. When I program for a competition, I do the entire competition because I don't really know if there's like personally, and I know that I can't always do it at the same level of the athletes that I'm programming for, but I can, I have a good enough feeling of where I am relative to the field that I can do something similar and just feel the stimulus. I'm not sure that, oh my God, I'm sorry for that noise if you can hear it. I'm not sure if...
two cats fucking?
No, it's this alarm thing. But Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Barely, but it's kind of cool. It makes me feel like you're in the Ukraine. Oh, that's nice.
Really loud.
That's
really
nice.
Loud.
Is it that's air raid siren testing in your hood?
They do it on the first Tuesday of every month. Anyway, I like to do the entire slate of programming over the, in a similar amount of time that the athletes are going to do it. And even if I have someone else test it, I don't necessarily feel like I get the same feedback as when I do it myself.
Hey, Caleb, did you see that yesterday North Korea fucking launched a intercontinental ballistic missile over Japan?
Literally right over top of it. Yeah,
what
it was nuts.
What the fuck are they doing?
It's the first time they've done it in like 4 years.
Crazy. I hope it's not over Brian's house.
Is it still going, Brian?
It's just finishing. Yeah, anyway. But that's what makes me feel like Chris and Josh are probably involved, pretty heavily in it. I would expect that, especially guys like that, would want to do the workouts that they're planning to program. Good
point. It's interesting that they've chosen two small characters, right?
That almost might be
that's just choosing to focus on a specific detail. You could say they're choosing to program two guys that have been around and seen it all.
Did Josh program last year?
I think so.
That might be why it's heavy, because people that aren't super strong, we can think, oh, but these guys are monsters, so we should make it like 40 pounds more than I was thinking. You know what I mean? Like
Josh and Rich did it together last year, I think.
Who?
Okay. Well, that
Josh and Rich.
Oh shit! Why not have Brian Shaw program the CrossFit event?
It would be 5 minutes long, the whole entire thing. 5 events, 1 minute long each event. 100-meter row for time. That would be one of the events.
What do we know about Rich Froning next year? I think he'll be turning 35. He'll be eligible for Masters. There was a lot of talk that this was his last time on team. Do we know anything about that? What's happening there? Have we heard anything?
I have not. I have not heard anything about Rich, and I don't know what he's going to do. I think that it's most likely that he either won't compete or will compete as. I don't know. I don't think he's going to compete next year.
You don't?
I don't know. I think he's going to do. I think he's going to do 1 year of Masters every 4 or 5 years, whenever the cutoff is. He'll do it his first year, win very easily, and then not compete again until he turns 40, and then win that one very easily, and then not compete again, and just win in every category. That way his name can just live on in infamy, and the Rich Dynasty will never be broken. He'll win in every single division there is. And that way he has 3 years off, 1 year to get it back together, and then beat everybody in the next division. That's what.
Oh, shit. Look at this. Maybe he will full-time coach. I can't see him taking a year off. I really can't.
Do you think he'll run it back with the team?
For what?
You never know with these guys. Was he happy with his victory? I mean, you never know with these guys.
I want to say the same thing, that I can't really see him taking a year off, but I just asked myself, is he going to go individual again? I don't think so.
I heard this story last night. I went out to dinner last night with some people, and I heard this story that I think it was the New York Mets I think it was New York Mets. I can't remember exactly, but they did a thing where basically on a screen they played, hey, can you beat the number of pull-ups this guy does or something? And Rich Froning did a certain number of pull-ups, right? And then they asked someone from the stands who thinks they can do more pull-ups than Rich, and they come down into the stadium and they do pull-ups. And the guy that they picked from the stands beat Rich. And of course, his range of motion was fucking a joke, right? I mean, the guy cannot beat Rich, and he beat Rich by, I can't remember by how many. And the guy had half range of motion. He was doing pull-ups like this, right? And then afterwards, they asked Rich, the sponsors asked, hey, will you make this guy say, hey, congratulations on beating me? And the story I heard is Rich was like, no, fuck you. I'm not doing that. I'm the best, and that guy didn't beat me, and I'm not saying congratulations to him for beating me. Like, and when I hear this story, basically what I'm trying to convey to you is that this guy's a fucking winner, and this guy wants to fucking compete, and he wants to fucking stay at the top, and he wants to win. And I don't think I don't think any of these guys ever scratch their itch. I don't think like Tia, I don't think like you win same with the Super Bowl. All these professional athletes, they're chasing something that can't ever be caught, and they just keep chasing it. And I think Rich knows that, and I can't see him taking a year off. He is a fucking winner. By the way, that was a great story I heard last night. Thank you. It was an ex-Reebok employee who told me that.
If I had my pick, I would want him to go Masters and have Sam Dancer go continue to be Masters and have that battle. Because Sam Dancer looked on another level until he got hurt. I don't know, some weird injury that just took him out forever. But I would like those two to go together. I would like Rich to go Masters and actually be challenged in individual just a little bit. It'd just be cool to see him do individual events again.
I think it would be awesome to see him do individual too, to do Masters.
I mean, I spoke to Sam, and he thinks, even despite the injury and with the comeback and rehab, that he can still compete in the individual field.
I know, but that's why I would want Rich to do Masters, because I think Sam legitimately thinks I can beat him, and I want to see people try to beat him. You know what I mean? I don't think they can, but I think it would be fun to watch.
Dancer's always hurt throwing all that meat around. Sam Dancer was one of those cars that the guy put an engine so fucking big in it. I had a friend who did this, that the car then becomes unhandleable. And you got a fucking 1,200 horsepower Camaro, but like no one can, you just can't, it just can't. Like if you floor it, the fucking chassis will twist. I think I love Sam to death, and he's fun to look at. God bless his Speedo collection, but he's never going to get out there on the field and tear shit up.
Do you think
too much man?
I think someone was saying, Rich is listed as doing the Masters division, or the Legends division, at Rogue. Also, Chris Spieler and Josh Bridges are. Do you think they program for that and are competing in it?
I think Josh said he is competing in it.
I know. Do you think they did the Legends programming also?
Yeah, that I don't have an answer for you. Yes.
If I was Josh Bridges, I would just do strict handstand push-ups and air squats and lunging, and those were all the events. And you could say you were fitter than Rich Froning for that weekend. I would just program every event that I was great at. Or something he was training for a whole month. Like he's programming it. He knows what it is.
Where is Olivia Kerstetter going to place at Rogue?
Don't you think we should just do an entire show about the rankings? Yeah,
but can we talk about her? Let's just integrate her in the show then. What do we want to say about her?
Inside the top 10, outside the top 10. Olivia Kerstetter. Inside the top 10.
Inside top 10.
Can we see the list of women competing?
She will place higher at this competition than she will at the games.
How many women are there? There are 20?
There are 20, and they're...
You want to read off the roster? I'll tell you higher or lower. Just to give me a name.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
You guys play that game.
No, why can't you? Caleb was going to pull it up now. You can play two, Brian. This is a two-person game. Two-person game. Okay. So I will write down all the people who you think are going to beat her. And when we get to 10, we'll see. These are all the people against Olivia Kerstetter. They're going to guess. God, this poor girl. the pressure we're fucking throwing on her. Okay, will these people beat Olivia Kerstetter? Laura Horvat.
Yes.
Brian.
I'll just comment if I disagree.
Okay, Danielle Brandon.
Yes.
Okay, Emma Lawson.
I don't know.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I'm putting Emma over here. I'll come back to her. It's like flashcards with my kids. I always give them a second chance.
I'm not confident enough to say no, but
I'm putting it in the back. I'm gonna put it in the back. Hey, I see a video that keeps popping up on my YouTube that says Emma Lawson is training over at Proven. Is that just a one-off?
Emma Lawson over Olivia Kerstetter.
Oh, wow. Is Emma Lawson a proven athlete now?
I don't know if that's if they've announced anything, and except that she was there. Also, Jack Farlow was there training with them a couple of weeks ago.
All right, I'll go out on a ledge. I'll go ahead and say no.
No, okay. Cara Saunders.
Yes.
Gabriella Magawa.
Waiting on Brian over there. Yes.
God, this is a good women's field.
Well, it could be better,
but it's pretty good.
It's pretty.
Hey, if she breaks in the top 10, it's going to be nuts.
It's going to be close. I think that it's very practical range of finishes for her is 8 to 12.
Yeah.
Hey, she's going to shit the bed on one event.
Yeah, but if you look at we'll just look in that range from last year of the 8 to 12 place finishers. Emma Carey was 12th with a 20th and a 16th place finish. Danielle Brandon was 11th with a 17th and a 19th place finish. Barnhart was 10th with a 19th and a 16th and another 16th place finish. So you can have it 1, 2, or maybe even 3 bad events and be right near the top 10.
Caleb, can you go back up for 1 second? I feel like I missed someone up there.
Do we know when the programming is announced, Brian?
Oh, Gabrielle.
I would have guessed very close to the competition.
Okay, so when we get the programming, my Olivia Kerstetter will heavily be influenced on when the programming is announced.
No. You got to stick with your plan.
We're going through the list. I will say what I think, but I'm saying my rankings will be skewed hard by the programming.
Alexis Raptis.
No.
Yes, I think Alexis beats Olivia.
Okay. Annie Thorsdottir.
Yes.
Annie wins. Annie beats Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
Ariel Lowen.
Yes.
You think Ariel beats Olivia?
Yep.
I'll take Olivia.
This makes me think I'm too much on Olivia right now. What's funny is when the game season comes around, I'm going to be the complete opposite.
Emma McQuaid. God, can Olivia just come from the fucking little girls fucking competition and fucking beat someone like Emma McQuaid? Come on, man. Didn't Emma destroy the fuck? Didn't she impress the shit out of us with the sandbag?
You're thinking of Jacqueline Dahlstrom?
That's Jacqueline Dahlstrom.
She's also in this field. We'll get to her.
I'll say yes.
Yes to what?
She beats her.
Emma beats Olivia.
Agree.
Okay. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people beating Olivia now. Amanda Barnhart.
Yes.
Now you have 8. Who's that next? Is that Jacqueline Dahlstrom? Yeah, Jacqueline Dahlstrom.
No.
Wow.
Here we go. I'm gonna get on a run here now.
Carolyn Prevost.
Nope.
Matilda Garns.
No to the next 3.
Wow. Andrea Solberg. Yeah, her. Annika Greer.
Annika could beat her, but I'm gonna say no, but she has a shot.
Bailey Rogers.
All right, and I think she beats all these girls. Ellie Turner and her are going to finish right next to each other.
So you ever beating Danny Spiegel?
Yep.
Hey, you know what's interesting too is when you have her beating like Danny and Manon Anganese. These are women with similar strengths, right?
Put on my list Danny Spiegel ahead of Olivia, by the way.
You have
Okay.
Ellie ahead or Olivia ahead?
My list is all fucked up anyway. I fucked it all up. I couldn't repeat shit to you except John's.
Oh, good. Well, so where did John have her? 10?
They're not much different. They're not much different.
Well, how about so you have Olivia beating Bailey Rogers, Danny Spiegel, Manon Anganese. How about Ellie Turner?
They're right next to each other for me. So what is she at right now?
So you have Laura Horvat, Dan Bailey. No. Who did I put for Dan?
Danielle Brandon.
Laura Horvat, Danielle Brandon, Cara Sanders, Gabriella Magawa, Annie Thorsdottir, Ariel Lowen, Emma McQuaid, Amanda Barnhart, Ellie Turner. Number 10 would be Kerstetter.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I got. Yeah. Olivia Kerstetter, 10th place. That sounds good.
Who is Andrea Solberger?
Andrea Solberg from Norway.
She been to the games?
In 2020.
She's
part of the,
a gymnastics freak.
I've never seen her before. That's the only one. That's the only girl I didn't recognize her name.
Yeah, she hasn't really competed at most of the competitions that you would have taken notice.
Wait, so what do you have her at, Ryan? 12th or 13th?
11.
Like one apart.
What? That's why I asked you, because I knew it would be close.
And should she be happy with that? You think she should be like, holy shit, I'm in the top 10 at Rogue?
11.
I don't know. It'll be
No,
top
it's
11
for her. No, this is. I mean,
Just getting
it's a great
experience.
opportunity for her to go there and compete. And honestly, I think that that's a approach that a majority of the athletes should be having with this competition. This is a really prestigious event. It's a really cool opportunity. You don't know the next time you're going to have the chance to do it. Last year after the games, Jason Hopper was obviously really disappointed with how he did there, and he's trying to decide, what do I do in the off season? He had the opportunity to go to any or all of the competitions he wanted, and he said, and I told him, I said, dude, you got to do Rogue. Like, you never know it might be the only chance you get to go there. And for some of these people, yeah, they assume that they're always going to make it, but it's usually, majority of the field, if not all the field, is invite only. And there's a lot of prize money on the line. The spotlights, it's a small field. The spotlight's on you. It's in North America. Like, all of the check marks are there. I really don't know why someone would pass up this.
It's a top tier games level field. It's the only other competition where it's a games level field throughout most of the whole entire roster. Wodapalooza in Dubai, they have great people, but after the top 5, it's not a games level field. Rogue is different.
Yeah, and I mean, look, like it or not, the fact that it is in North America is like separates it from Dubai. That's way far away. Most people aren't going to be able to get there, and following it time zone wise, it's not as appealing to most audiences. Wodapalooza, there's so much going on. There's a much bigger field. There's less spotlight on each individual athlete. This is a great opportunity from a brand perspective, marketing perspective, competition perspective, experience perspective, financial perspective. To me, passing up the opportunity to go to Rogue outside of being injured is totally crazy.
Let me pose a scenario at you. Haley Adams wants to get stronger, let's say, hypothetically. Is there something that would make it so that Rogue would interfere with that? That maybe, let's say,
Haley doesn't bother me. Haley doesn't bother me that she's not doing it. Mal bothers me. And again, I have no say in anybody. It doesn't matter what I think, but I respect if Haley doesn't want to do it.
Let's say Haley's just trying to get stronger, and she's put on 20 pounds, and she's just eating like crazy, and she's kind of just letting her fitness wane, and she doesn't want to be exposed there, or slash it would interfere with it would stop her. She wants to put on 15 pounds of back squat this year, and going to Rogue would make it so she could only put on 10. I mean, is there some world where that's a reality, or no? It's like, dude, suck it up, Buttercup. It's 6 events. Get out there.
I would buy that.
The first scenario, that it would interfere her from getting stronger, Brian?
I would buy that's a reality.
I agree with John. I understand more in the case of Haley than Mal. I still think it's a
Mistake.
I still think it's a crazy decision.
Maybe they're injured, but so outside of being injured, the decisions are money, prestige, and training. And
Plus
money and
sponsors.
prestige
Like if
are
I'm one of
tied,
their
right?
sponsors, I'm like, what do you mean you're not going to Rogue?
Yeah, and that's what I meant by prestige.
I just think so. Like, my thinking is she better be 20 pounds stronger then. Like, if she gets to the games and she's the same Haley she's been for 4 straight years, then she just wasted an opportunity to have $50,000 in her pocket. She just sent $50,000 away if she's not 20 pounds stronger. So, if she's the same Haley, complete wasted opportunity. If she is 20 pounds stronger, then it was well worth it.
Caller, hi.
Yeah, I'm wondering about the sponsorship potential, and I think it's something that you talk about, Sevan, that, you know, CrossFit is not Harley Davidson, it's the riders, you know, and I think that maybe for them it's more important to win the CrossFit Games because of the brand than it is actual earning potential. And I have a feeling that the hard work pays off team has some type of branding plan for Mal as well.
That's a great point. The eyeballs on the games are fucking probably 100x.
Yeah, their branding plan is for her to win the games. That's their branding plan. I mean, it's nothing more marketable.
Yeah, that's a
than
good
that.
point.
Like, I can't remember how many times Matt won Rogue, but I know how many times he won the CrossFit Games.
Right. And like I said, even the stands at Rogue, it's kind of weird how empty they are.
Full live stream 2021 Rogue Invitational, 1.1 million views on YouTube.
Oh, well, shit. Well, shit.
They are.
And
They are a little easier to follow.
Tia's doing the games this year. She ain't winning this next year. Doesn't matter.
She's not winning what next year, John?
The games.
Tia?
No, Mal.
Oh, that's a good point too, caller. Like, Mal's not going to win the games this year anyway, so she might as well do Rogue and the games.
Might as well win the 250.
Right.
Yeah.
God, it does seem
All right,
like a lot of money.
Day one of the 2021 CrossFit Games, 3 million views. So
Whew,
3
that's
times
a lot
as many.
more.
Well, Sevan, just so you know, I was going to call because I was getting ready for work, and my wife's like, "You're not going to call Sevan in the shower after you told your story." So, you know, wait till you're done and ready, then call in.
You
So
could
I'm glad
always
guys
call in the
got that.
shower. Just put it like on a ledge on speakerphone. That's why the phone's waterproof. What do you think about the missile that Korea shot over Japan?
I think we live in a crazy world right now, man.
Yeah. All right.
I think we live in a crazy world. You guys have a good day.
Okay, bye.
I think I'm just happy I don't live in Japan then. That's what I think. Something like that.
Fuck, that whole island goes away if someone wants it to. It's a fucking scary world. Oh, we went through it. We got through a lot of shit. Anyway, I just want to finish this with Olivia Kerstetter. I think that there's, for a lot of reasons, she's just absolutely amazing. So many people got to follow her from when she was just a itty bitty tiny little girl to now she's stepping onto the big stage. She's with Jacob Hepner. The positivity that comes from that camp and those videos is fantastic. She just seems unique. I feel like she adds a different side to the normal cast of characters that we have for women, and time will tell. Maybe she'll get sucked up into that, you know, kind of that archetype that all of these women get kind of like start pushed into. But as of now, I have great hope for her bringing a whole different angle to the games and the cast of characters. It's cool, and it's fun getting on the bandwagon early, right? I only have one question left. Do you guys have what is the best training camp? What is if you're an athlete and you can go anywhere, where do you want to go in the world?
Brute strength.
Brian's going to avoid the question. I already hear him. He's going to be like, well, it depends on the athlete.
No. I mean, I guess it depends on where you're coming from. Like, what are you just entering CrossFit brand new, raw to it? Having done it before? Where would I send you? That kind of question.
No, you want to go
trying to win the CrossFit.
You want to
games
win the
and you've already
CrossFit
been
games.
Pursuing the
Yeah.
CrossFit for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
It depends
Let's
on
say
a
you're a
lot of
top
things.
500 finisher in the Open. Let's say that you're top 500 finisher in the Open, and you're ready to go to the next level. You've done that in your own, in your own local affiliate.
So like has made a semifinal, but hasn't gotten to the games yet.
Where do you go?
So my honest opinion about this is that it doesn't matter. The programming is not at one of those places or the other is not what's going to make the difference for you. It's the atmosphere. So it's just got to be the place where you're comfortable and confident, and your coach or coaching staff is comfortable and confident to address the things that need to be addressed in an environment that's not intimidating or threatening.
And I would argue different people thrive in different atmospheres, and it's not the same for one person at all. I mean, Quant is a part of Hard Work Pays Off. He is by himself in his garage most of the time. Fort Vancouver, are we calling that a camp? Because Justin is a camp of one and Ellie, but that's a freaking family for them over there. You know, like it's just it's different for everybody. You know, Fikowski and Valner, they work better alone. You know,
Roman
is a part of Brute Strength, and is he still in Madison?
Yeah, but he's mostly isolated as well and always has.
Yeah, Roman's a part of the Brute Strength camp, but works out by himself most of the time.
And I mean, when we talked about it earlier today, you know, someone in the comments was making, you know, an allusion to some of the Mayhem athletes like Lazar Jukic or Kara Saunders, who are following Mayhem programming that they're training in an environment where the coach isn't there. What I was suggesting was that in certain athletes' cases, it's really beneficial to have the eyes on, and for other athletes, they don't necessarily need that. And I think that's probably those are some good case studies to suggest the fact that it can be done from anywhere. You just have to find something that fits. And I think that can look a lot of different ways.
I think the changing of the camps over and over and over again is not good for like any top athlete.
Yeah, and that's tough because when you go and try something and it doesn't seem like it's fitting well, then you're in this like dilemma. Well, how long do I have to give it a try? Am I, will it be better after 2 years or 3 years? And if not, am I wasting that time? And how soon do you necessarily know if it's working? And I do think that in some cases, I wish there was a better word for it, but some people just get lucky, like this thing with Medeiros and Adam. Justin wanted that. Adam didn't necessarily want that. And now both of them are looking back and saying, yeah, this has worked out great. But did they just get lucky? Or, how did Justin know that was going to be the coach for him?
That's a great question. Tia said she wants to make her record impossible. Did she say that? That's awesome if she did. That is fucking awesome. Make her record impossible to beat. I am a size large. This shirt is a large.
So I wonder if she'll just keep competing until she thinks Laura can beat Mal, and then be like, "Okay, Laura, you can start winning now."
Or Olivia.
Or Olivia. Yeah. No, not Olivia, because she's young. I'm saying that just because Mal has 10 years left to do it. You know what I mean? That would ensure that nobody beats it.
Caleb just sits around and works out all day. That's all, and just eats MREs or REMs or whatever the fuck they eat over there.
No food here, just weights.
Just wait. Brian, John, is there anything you would like to bring up before I turn us off? The world has to go another week without seeing us.
Brian just did a competition. Did it run well, Brian?
Yeah, it was really very fulfilling and rewarding.
Did you do the programming?
Crash Crucible?
I did the programming, and I did all the workouts myself beforehand for both divisions.
Was it a well-balanced test?
Well, I think so. But it was.
What was the event you did, Brian? What was the event?
Just a competition in my gym. Mostly athletes from the gym.
Who won?
3 athletes from the gym.
Barnes. Somebody named Barnes. That's who won.
She got second.
God, did she really?
Who's that? Who's Barnes?
It's just some girl from Brian's gym. She's a BA Masters athlete.
She's unbelievable, dude. You would not believe it if you saw her working out. It's crazy. It is crazy. I don't understand it.
Do you have the bug now, Brian?
What bug?
The bug to do more programming for more events?
This is the 6th one I've programmed for my gym.
Holy shit. How many events?
Well, the athletes took the floor 3 times each, but there were 4 scored events, and then the top 4 RX teams had a final. And I was really happy that they had the final because it actually caused a change in the podium.
Did you use Z-score?
No, not a big enough field to have an effect on it using Z-score.
Awesome. Okay.
Hopefully we can talk more about Z-score soon.
Crash Crucible just happened. It's first event to use Z-Score.
They did use it at one other, but it wasn't quite as big of an event. I think this was the first chance for us to really get a chance to see how well it works and whether it's practical going forward.
I'm going to up my dose of Xanax, and then we'll do that show.
Yes. We know how you feel about those shows.
Caleb, thank you. Oh, man, I got beat up today in the text thread. Man, oh, man. Okay, bye, everybody.